So I have a friend who recently reached out to me and they were going through a breakup. And I asked her, why are you looking to break up with this person? And the first thing she told me was, when I feel down, when I feel alone, when I feel lonely, or just I'm having a bad day and I try to emotionally open up with them, they always tend to give me advice around the Buddhist best practices for dealing with sadness or technical how-to advice or this is what you should do. And because of that, I don't feel heard with this person and I don't feel comfortable opening up. And at some point, I feel like the relationship lacks like that emotional connection. And I just feel like the best thing we can do is break up. And after hearing the story, I realized there's a lot of people out there, a lot of guys out there that just don't know how to emotionally support a female, whether it's your sister, your girlfriend, your mother, whoever it might be. And what I want to do in this video is break down to you how you can emotionally support your female friends, girlfriend, whatever, you know the deal. Point number one is to not get triggered, right? Let's say they're going through a tough time and while they're explaining things, you start feeling resentful, you start feeling sulky, maybe you start feeling mad because they said something, but then it makes you think of a time where they messed up for you and then you get mad and everything. You have to remember, you need to give them that space where they can freely talk and just let their minds go. And when you break that like flow and start bringing up something else, they won't feel complete. The way you want to think about it is like this. When a girl's trying to open up to you, right, they have a bucket inside them full of water, right? And it's like bad water. And they're trying to empty that bucket. And they empty that bucket by talking to you openly about how they feel about things, and bit by bit that water empties. Eventually it empties out completely, and by the end of it, when it does empty out, they usually say something along the lines of, I feel so much better, I feel so much lighter, I feel good, you're always there for me when you listen, thank you so much, I feel so much better, right? Your goal is to get them to empty their bucket. And, at the process of emptying it, if you start bringing up something else, which just evokes even more emotion, their bucket doesn't get emptied and they still sit with this this weird energy in them. And, later on in your relationship, that weird energy can come back to bite you because they're still holding on to pent up energy. And again, your goal right now is just to listen and just like unjudgmentally just be an ear, just be in ear. So if you do get triggered by certain things, I want you to know, I get it, like I totally get it, but at the same time, know that it's not time for you right now, it's time for them. And if it does bother you, just make a note of it and bring it up later. The next point is you want to get into the habit of asking them, what else? Tell me more. This sounds important to you. Can you elaborate, right? You want to give them prompts to really get everything out. Again, what I mentioned, the bucket, right? We're trying to get them to empty the bucket. And the way you get them to empty the bucket is by using prompts. Hey, tell me more. What does this mean to you? Oh, this is interesting. Wait, they said that, and how did that make you feel, right? You want them to open up more to the point where they have a cathartic release and they have nothing left in that bucket. So you'll want to use prompts. Now keep in mind, throughout this whole process, she's venting to you, right? She's venting to you about certain things, and you're just listening and you're asking them, tell me more. What you do not want to do is give them advice, because what that does is if you give them advice, it makes them feel like they're not being heard in the moment and they're being slightly judged. And, if you're going through a tough time and someone's telling you what to do, right? It almost feels like, I know what to do. Why are you telling me what to do? It kind of makes me feel even worse, right? If you yourself have ever gone through a bad time and all of a sudden someone starts telling you, yeah, you should have done this, or maybe you could do this better, or this, right? There's a time and place for that. But when you're just venting, you're just in a bad place and you just want to open up, that's not the time to give advice, right? So when you're in that moment where she's venting to you, do not give advice. I know our brains want to naturally go to problem-solving mode, or we become like a consultant or something where we're diagnosing a problem, or some next level therapist and we're seeing it from a very analytical lens, like tell me more, right? This is not a sales call, all right? This is just sit back, open ears, emotionally empathize, and ask them, tell me more. Our goal here is to simply empty that bucket, okay? And most likely they already know the answer to like how to solve their problems, right? Like they generally will know the answer to how to solve their problems. Your goal is just to let them vent that stuff out of them. That's it. Just get them to vent out. So at this point, they vented. You've asked them, tell me more. They have now emptied their bucket. They've said something like, oh, I feel so much better, right? You got them to empty their bucket. Now what you want to do is give them a nice hug, make them feel good, change their state in some way. Maybe you can give them a big hug and be like, hey, want to go grab some bubble tea right now? Or, hey, why don't you lie down here? I'll tuck you in and I'll put on a movie for us and we just watch a movie for the rest of the night, right? Something to just really change their state from like that feeling to like, yes, I feel good now, right? Because at this point, they went through the cathartic, I let everything out, they've emptied their bucket. Now it's just like they're in the state of like, okay, cool, it's emptied. You want to bring it up, like bring up the vibration somehow. And the best way to do it, in my opinion, is to just change up the state. Go to a movie, cuddle them, bring them food, whatever it might be. And anyways, there you have it. That's how, at least from my knowledge, I'm not a therapist or anything like that. That's just talking from personal experiences. But this is, in my opinion, how I personally go about emotionally being there for a female friend, a girlfriend, or mom, or whoever it may be. And I hope that this lesson helps you as well in some way, shape, or form. With that being said, be sure to subscribe if you like this video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace.